Welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room, starring Antone Davis, Rocky DiStefano, Delano Williams, and Phil Anthony. Fantasy football, real results.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Ultimate Fantasy Locker Room. I'm your host, Delano Williams, and I almost messed that up. Wait,
no, but you love that. You love saying I'm the host.
Hey, I just gotta fill the shoes, you know.
You just came from the airport.
Yeah, I did just come from the airport, and I just finished dropping off the kids and the wife.
Yeah,
and I am a bachelor at the house. Y'all know what I'm about to do.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I know what you would have done.
Oh, man.
But now you're probably going to be playing Spider-Man.
Whoa, how'd you know? I'm going to be on that PS5.
A lot of coconut oil.
You know, I'm in a separate, coconut oil, huh? Is that what you use?
Gets the job done.
Okay, well.
It's already downgraded.
Already, yeah. You know, that's not worth it.
It's got a higher burning point as well.
Talk about, as I switch us to another topic, a safer topic, talk about our sipping beer.
You guys want to know what we have today?
Yeah.
This one's a doozy right here. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Y'all mind?
No.
This right here, this beer right here is called COVID Hazy Pale. Yeah, that's what I said. It's pale? Actually called COVID. Right? I think I missed that one, but I tried
censor
it.
yourself.
Yeah, just want to make sure. Anybody want to tell them what it's really called?
No.
Okay.
I'm right. Tell us where is it from?
Oh, this right here, this beer is from Sud's Saloon.
Yeah.
From Montrose Street Market. I'm saying this, guys. I'm butchering it already.
Well, so the beer is actually from Wisconsin, and they are a Wisconsin-themed bar. And they cannot keep this product in stock. It is selling like crazy.
Let me see if I could do this. It looks like some real contraption.
Yeah. You got a
what is it?
Combination is N2.
These are crazy. It's a doozy. I'm sorry I messed that up. Montrose Street Market.
There you go. You nailed it that time. Thank you, sir.
If you want to know what the name is again, I'll hold on. Let me.
Not bad.
Y'all like it?
It's Fivok COVID, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Are you Norwegian?
So
let me see here.
So how was everybody's week? What's going on in your world?
I got beasted again.
You did.
But I'm gonna you just keep track, don't you?
You got beasted by my backup team.
I don't think it's your bad. I think
team auto draft.
You think the team is auto drafting? I think you set them up well.
I mean.
It
took part of my DNA, so it's going to be a good team. So I think I've only beat 2 teams, and they're you twice.
What do you just...
What, you don't like it? I love it.
This
pretty
right
good.
Here? Yeah. Because it's a hazy...
It's a hazy pale.
That's your go-to, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
I like that. Yeah. It's good, but it's a little...
Hoppy.
I like it a little bit stronger. It's only 5%, but, this is more up your alley.
You wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know what.
No, I'm just saying you can't tell that it's just 5%.
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
You prefer, what's that drink called?
That's
malt liquor?
Yeah, I mean.
You talking about Old English?
Yeah.
Silver Thunder.
That's his go-to.
In a bag.
Who, me?
Yeah, that's your go-to. In the black.
In a bag.
The brown paper bag.
I'm a St. Ides man.
Steel Reserve.
Steel Reserve gets the job. 211.
I have no idea what we're talking about right
now.
Y'all went past me.
We're talking about cheap.
No, I figured. But
malt liquor.
Y'all are talking about
talking about high school
on a college dollar budget.
Yeah, kind of like Natty Ice.
Natty Lights.
Yeah,
not that. And you get the lights.
Yeah, you like the lights.
Case for
you watching your figure.
Still, no, y'all left me. I was drinking old Granddad. Y'all over here with the.
I don't even. What's that?
Old Granddad is a cheap bourbon, but it's a good bourbon.
It's a good bourbon.
Yeah. Solid bourbon. No, it's good.
So you guys were drinking the pale ales and the,
No.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
I wasn't. No,
High
I
school.
was drinking Old English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I
thought you were from Brooklyn.
Doesn't mean that I'm drinking that.
I was drinking that. I was drinking E&J.
Of course you were.
Boone's Farm.
No.
Mad Dog.
No,
Mad Dog.
I know about that, but I wasn't drinking it.
So, Phil, why don't you introduce our guest here?
Oh, yeah,
talk about how you guys got together?
Oh well, I mean, Mark's my neighbor, and
It sounds terrible, by the way.
it's terrible.
Yeah, what's it
We're-
like?
we're like kinda- yeah,
what's
yeah.
it like
All right,
living
here we
next
go.
to Phil?
It's completely plutonic, I promise.
No, but I mean, is it like parties, screaming at night,
Hey,
salsa,
can you hear me yelling
Hey,
at my kids?
salsa
No, not at all.
music?
Can you hear me out of mine?
No.
Really?
No, what do you?
No,
And I
think
really,
about
I
that.
yell.
You look
No,
like
we
a-
think about. I think about those
My
things.
voice thunders
You hear
in
what I
that
said?
home.
Nothing.
No,
Said
it ain't.
salsa music. I
No.
mean, nothing. He's gonna.
Well, we do. Yeah, when we have a party, we listen
Yeah,
to salsa music. Is
that's-
that bad?
no, I didn't say it's bad, but
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Gabby thinks so.
No, it's actually very subdued. Even when you tried to make a lot of noise, the last party you had, you
Yeah,
failed.
it was
there was
bad.
there was
Yeah.
no noise.
We were outside and
At all.
everything. I don't know, we got a very docile family, I guess.
I wouldn't think. You know,
No,
I wouldn't
that's
guess
not
that.
true.
Yeah, yeah. I
No, it
wouldn't-
is true.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, I know so. They're my family.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, it doesn't matter. So Mark, yeah. So we kind of, we just shoot the shit once in a while. We don't really talk to people, but we kind of force to talk to each other
Yeah.
because we just walk out of the house and see each other.
Proximity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Relationship.
So
Actually,
this is
yesterday,
the-
so I was coming out of the house yesterday, like headed to run errands, and it was about like 10 a.m. something like that.
Yeah, it was about that because I was heading out the same time.
And we literally stood in front of our cars with our cars running, talking for 3 hours.
Yeah,
And
and
it was
Mark is
probably-
Mark's a fantasy, nerd, just like us. And he joined your league this year,
Yeah.
and I was impressed immediately. I could tell by
His
how he was
face, his
drafting.
body.
Yeah, well, I mean that goes without saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he's adorable.
He did
but
text me about that after the draft.
He texted me too.
how
I just
creepy
didn't
would
tell you.
that be if I did?
Yeah.
Anyways, but immediately you could tell he knew what he was doing as compared to the other guy you brought on.
Well, I didn't bring him in. My cousin
know.
brought him in.
I don't know where you got him.
And to be
He's a
fair,
nice
yeah,
guy.
he was terrible.
He's a nice guy.
He has a book.
Not about fantasy
No.
football, but immediately Mark, you could tell Mark knew what he was talking about, and he's I think he's got the best record in your league.
Barely. But yeah.
I wanted you to plug the book.
I forget the name,
No,
but
no,
Rocky,
it's about
what
it's
is it
about marriage, like how to be a good husband. So
There it is.
He-
I'll
he
read
cares
that
about-
while I'm home.
Alone, yeah, you should.
yeah, he
We'll get
cares.
you a copy.
He cares about things that matter. I'm all into fantasy.
I feel like if you got to read a book about how to make your marriage or how to, what is it, like behavior
you're
in the
related to
marriage?
this guy, right? You got to be.
No, I'm not
careful.
related to him. What are you
Okay.
talking about?
I wasn't sure.
Oh,
Were you drunk?
it changes
at the draft?
things. It changes things.
I
No,
just
I
figured
did- he-
everybody. I
no.
thought everybody in your league was related except for me and Mark.
Why?
Come on now.
It's a family league.
I think so too.
It's not a fan. Well, I mean, we do got, yeah, but
I mean, Lewis, Josh.
but
Zach,
what's the
you.
book about? Is it like marriage counseling?
No, well, I think it's kind of like how to stay in love. Your whole marriage. And honestly, like it looks like a
you
good
read
book.
the book?
No, not yet, but I
The little
am gonna-
synopsis on the
I
back.
am
What
gonna
looks
order
good
it.
about the book?
You read the back of the book, which gives you
Yeah.
all.
Was it the
give
cover?
Gives you all the good details.
I read
anyway.
most books like that. I read just the back and I'd be like,
Hey,
got it.
I tell you what, looks
If
good.
your marriage
Sam,
is in that
hey,
dire straits, just go see a marriage counselor.
Sam
Don't read
seems
a
like
book.
he's got his stuff together.
Does he?
Looks good. Yeah, he looks like he's well dressed, smells nice. So I
Oh.
figure,
See,
he's got
these,
to.
these
Can you,
things.
can you tell that from the book?
These things that you say.
I can.
So you were impressed by Mark. Sam looked like he smelled good.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
so you guys talked for 3 hours about fantasy sports
No, we
while
talked
you were
about
supposed to be
everything.
running errands.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was a little
A little bit of everything.
bit of everything.
Health, family.
How weird it was to be.
Was that you
standing outside
guys'
for
first
3
time
hours.
catching up? Is that you guys' first time catching up since?
It was the longest. Yeah, we kind of just always see each other in passing and just talk a little bit of football and say we're going to meet up and never meet up.
Was there a moment where the eyes met and the
Twinkle.
There was.
Twinkle.
But then my brother Josh
multiple
drove by and
moments.
he came and we talked to him for like 30 minutes.
Josh is such a cockblock.
We did
It was
swing
a-
through. He was bragging about something about being bi or
Oh yeah,
on a bi week maybe.
Because me and
That's
him
what
were
it was.
on-
Maybe
we're bi
week.
brothers.
That's what it was. Bi
we're on
brother.
bye week for the play. We're on bye week for the playoffs, so we
This took a very weird turn.
brothers and bye. So we had a bacchanal in front of my house, and it was nice.
It's nice.
Oh, I
But
get
it
it.
took too
A
long.
bye week.
Yeah.
I get it.
I
I,
gotta
it?
be. I gotta be honest with you.
It's like
Like,
a hall
catching on.
pass. It's like a
Listen,
hall pass for fantasy
He's on the
football.
delay over there.
get that.
listen, when I leave my house, I'm a head down, walk to the car. I'm not looking to engage in conversation. I'm like straight to the car and out.
Well, we don't live in a state like this.
Yeah.
So we're like right up on each other. So we went.
I mean, this is palatial.
It is.
I agree with you. It is
In-ground pool,
Right.
above ground pool,
indoor.
indoor pool.
So anyway,
Anyways, so let's talk about most weeks. It's playoffs, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to I just wanted to say, I
working.
want to rub the elf, but
Magic.
well, you have all the time and space in the world now.
It's
well,
a,
let me get it. Let me
it's
get
a
the
big
elf.
year. You know, it's a big time of year for the elf on the shelf. There's an elf on the shelf. There's the Cleveland Browns elf. Yeah, you are rubbing it
A
wrong.
little hard.
Yeah.
Where
I
am
normally rub the
Oh,
head.
there's a part to rub
Yeah, I
it.
normally rub the top of its head.
You
but
want to go from the bottom to the head.
That's where I was going.
you were
I
like
started
doing a
there.
full body massage
Yeah,
over
Like
there.
you work from the
I
bottom
figured
and
that's
then get to
another-
the head, and it's kind of it works better that way.
Hey, this,
Sorry.
all joking aside.
Watch
whoa.
the mic.
Yeah, all joking
that
aside.
wrong.
The Browns were impressive, right? The Giants were impressive.
The Browns were impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giants looked really good. They're getting better. First place, tie with Washington.
The Bears look good too
Bears
they
always
lost.
look good.
for about 55 minutes.
Is he a Bears fan?
He's a Bears
Oh,
fan,
my God.
unfortunately.
Yes,
Oh,
I
no.
am.
Yeah.
The Saints-
we can
Saints
find a
look good.
hat.
Saints look good.
Saints are good.
Saints did look good.
The Saints, yeah.
Every week.
Well,
The
they kinda- yeah,
Vikings.
always.
That game was pretty boring. I don't know if it was just me, but that game looked like it was in slow motion.
I didn't watch that game.
It wasn't an impressive game.
I agree with
Jacksonville looks like they accidentally score every time they score. They
but
don't
I'm going to
mean
say it
to.
again, though. Jacksonville, they keep it close every week now. It's
Yeah,
Mike
but
Glennon,
it doesn't.
man.
Every year they do that.
No,
too.
they
Every
just-
year their team looks like absolute
They-
garbage, and somehow they keep their
Yeah, but
every
it's
game
by
close.
accident.
well, and they trade all their great players, and they keep the only quarterback that might help them win on the bench. And I don't know if you
I
noticed,
think
he's
Mike Glennon's played better than
Gardner screaming. He's like he wants to play,
Idiot.
So
You can't compete with a neck that
They're
long.
horrible. Jacksonville.
it's the mustache. You want
It's
the mustache.
all
No,
by
I'm talking about the
mistake.
neck. The neck or the mustache. I go
Glennon?
neck. I
Like-
go neck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I heard that about
What's
you.
wrong with his neck?
That's long. I like the longer neck as opposed to the mustache.
Yeah,
You a mustache guy?
Yeah, his mustache is glorious.
yeah.
I'm not into that.
I mean, it's funny because you both have mustaches and you
Right.
aren't into it.
Right.
I
What?
think I wouldn't be into it.
What are you
I
saying?
wonder how you look with a mustache. Have you ever
Hey.
seen him with a mustache?
Like my dad. Let me tell you what though, when I grow a beard,
When?
oh, I'm gorgeous. Like seriously, like
Like a lumberjack.
people notice.
An
Like
Italian lumberjack.
Oh,
yeah, men want to be me and women want to be with me when I have a beard.
wow.
Okay.
Wow. You hear that? You
All
hear
right.
that? I'm taking notes over here. I'm like,
Gabby, look at that. She's just got that crappy look on her face. Like, what the heck's wrong?
I don't know what that meant.
she's,
I think
Gabby's like, strum up the band.
All right, so we're gonna change our format a little bit, but we're gonna go right to our first section.
I feel good about our backups. I feel good about our tight end. I feel good about our quarterback. I feel good about our two running backs.
Gosh, I love.
You already know what I'm about to do. Hey, we just filling here in a new segment. We're gonna do it just like this. Make sure y'all paying attention. I feel good about this next segment. Make sure you guys got your information together. We got about 7 minutes on the clock. 7 minutes on the clock means when we are done with 7 minutes, we gonna be done.
And you're in charge of that clock. So.
Yeah, you already know.
Yo, right where you good with that?
Coach O was here, so prepare yourself.
All right, so who wants to start? We're gonna talk start and sit for QBs, and each one of us can kind of give some of our favorites or some of the people that we would avoid. So, and we haven't talked yet about this, so we could have some duplication. But anybody you guys really like this week? And
7 minutes on the clock.
I really like Kirk Cousins.
yeah, no, I had him too. Yep.
And, he's going against a good defense, but when you look at the metrics, they were ranked worst in fantasy points per game against receivers in all three positions, slot, right, left, and they ranked sixth over the whole season, but over the last four, they're actually worse than every metric. And Cousins kind of been on a tear, man.
Yeah, he has. The last 5 games, I think he's been right at top 10 or better.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Thielen later in this game, who I actually like a little bit better than Jefferson.
Oh, yes.
Just because of the matchup. But yeah, I like Cousins this week.
And Cousins is going to have some opportunity too. Now that we're getting to crunch time, Tampa Bay is going to start putting some points on the board.
Is it a night game? Because if so, then we know they're going
It's
to
a
get some
1 o'clock game.
interceptions.
Yeah.
It's too bad because, I like kind of conversely a little bit like Kirk Cousins, I'm a real big believer in Ryan Tannehill this week. He had a great second half against the Browns. Who couldn't say that this year that played the Browns? But a great second half, and I think he's primed for another really sharp game. He's playing the Jacksonville Jags. They have nothing to play for, and they're pretty susceptible to
rival
passing.
Yeah, and they played week 2.
And rival.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later, too.
No, we'll talk about it now.
No, we're not. Shut up. So, but Tannehill, I think they played Jacksonville week 2, and he had 4 touchdowns, 26 fantasy points. So, and that was at a point where they, felt they were maybe still in contention.
I think I did just read, though, A.J. Brown is doubtful this week now.
Is he now?
Yeah, he did not practice.
So that, that's funny. I mean, I guess we could talk about that later when we get into wide receivers, but that does change things a little bit for Corey Davis.
Yeah, no, it does. But I think that they have enough receivers to kind of fill that void. I think Tannehill will still be pretty good. He might check down to his tight end or his running backs. But
I think Tannehill will be fine,
Yeah. How about you guys have anybody you think, hey, this is start? It's okay not to. I was trying to bring up the sound bite. You smell like you're about to get pregnant, but I couldn't do it.
No,
because I figured you were bringing Russ.
Well, I can't talk much about him because he's been letting everyone down.
Yeah.
He was
had a rough
hot.
game.
He was hot. I think you know what I'm saying. You know what they say before a fight. You don't want to,
Yeah.
You
Lose your legs.
Yeah, he's losing
That's
his
Rocky
legs.
3,
Boy,
Mr. T.
did you
I
see what the
remember
Giants
that.
did to him? So I wouldn't say to start him right now unless he's going to be from this point on, on the up and up. But
Mark, who
I
do you
think
think?
he's facing the Jets this week, though, is he not?
That's
Which
it's
is
a pretty good remedy.
They're giving up 291 yards through the
Here's
air.
the thing. I thought about that, and I actually had him in my ranking, but I also thought that they're probably just going to want to run the ball down their throat, too, and they'll probably get a lead and be a little conservative.
well, it's either that or
And they might not, but I'd be worried about it.
I think he's gonna. If anything, he's gonna stretch his legs. He's got two things. He can either let this game be super easy, get the job done, put the pad the points or the stats or whatever.
Yeah.
Or this game can still benefit him and give him the momentum whether they win again. But if it's just an easy game, it doesn't prove anything whether he got better. It's just how bad the Jets are.
No,
See,
but-
you're getting back into your man crush with Russell Wilson right now.
Well, but I mean, sometimes you
That's
need.
against him though.
Hey,
No,
sometimes
you're
you
saying
need that.
like
though,
I'm just
right?
saying you're like focusing on Russ. What we're saying is that just the flow of the game might take him out of the game.
Yeah.
Once they get a lead, which they'll probably get. I mean,
Okay.
for the Jets after losing that game last week, it's a little
I see
demoralizing.
what you're saying.
I don't know. Good coach, which we know, Pete is. I think he might want to get his quarterback some confidence, kind of like what Stefanski did with Mayfield. I mean, he gave him the ball and said, throw it against the Jets, an easier defense, a lot like the Titans. Maybe they say, hey, try to build some confidence back up. So
Yeah, and we'll mention Justin Herbert.
That's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
I was going to go
Air
with
Bear, you
Air
like him?
Bear.
Yeah.
Air Bear
I like that
Air Bear
game.
should put up points this week.
Well, yeah, I think the total's like 54.5 in Vegas, so there's going to be a lot of points.
A lot of points. And Atlanta's given up 285 through the air.
Yeah.
Air Bear's got targets. He's had quite an outstanding rookie year as far as fantasy points are concerned.
And
and we mentioned last week that the Patriots are superior at knowing how to confuse quarterbacks. They've done it all year, and that's kind of what happened. But they were really helped because the game got out of hand pretty quickly. So
And to see the Patriots come out like that and just absolutely crush.
I mean,
I didn't expect 45.
Crush the
nothing.
I wasn't
but
expecting that at all.
two special teams, right? They had a kickoff, a punt return, and then they had another TD off a touchdown off something.
Yeah, but you didn't expect them to hold Air Bear down.
Yeah.
After the season he's had, I knew they'd confuse him, but I didn't think they'd blank them.
Yeah.
2 minute warning. 2 minute warning.
And
2 minute
Atlanta is actually pretty. I mean, even their pass defense has gotten better since Raheem Morris has taken over, but their run defense has been stout, kind of since the beginning of the season. So I think that even leans more into Air Bear having to pass the ball more.
Yeah, I agree
and
with
even
that.
Eckler getting more targets in the run game because
I mean, he
last week
doesn't-
Balaj was back.
Yeah.
And Eckler outpaced him, but that first drive, Balaj had 3 carries to Eckler's 2. So just
Well, and
something
I mean, to your point, I think that Air Bear is not acting like a rookie quarterback. That was the first game where anybody stopped him.
And usually, for these rookie quarterbacks, the tight end is a security blanket a lot of times. He only looked Hunter Henry's way 4 times last week, 1 catch for 5 yards. Absolutely killed me in a ton of my leagues.
That sucked.
Yeah, because I have Hunter Henry everywhere. I think he's probably my highest percent owned player in all my leagues.
So he's your Russell Wilson because you got a man crush on him.
Yeah, why would
He's a good-looking guy, Henry.
I was able to get a good discount on him, getting him late in the rounds.
Okay, what about
We're
guys?
running out of time, too.
Yeah.
So,
What about guys you maybe wouldn't start? And I'm going to start this off and say, I don't know if I'm starting Kyler Murray this week. I just don't think I am. Honestly, he's kind of been trending down. Got some stats here. He's tailed off recently. He hasn't been running as often or effectively. And opponents have become pretty dialed in against his passing game. It's been over a month since he's had an effective game throwing the ball. His only touchdown against the Bills came on the final play of the game. He wasn't good at Seattle, and he's been under 180 passing yards the last 2 weeks. So I would say, maybe this is one where if you have another quarterback that you feel good about, you don't start Kyler Murray.
I don't know how you sit Kyler, though.
all right, we're out of here, guys.
out of there.
I know it hurts.
Man, that needs a rebuttal.
Yeah, I know it hurts.
You got that in under the wire. That was well done.
Hey, we're gonna move on to running backs.
Yeah, you got big news to
We got
announce, right?
we got some running backs.
Yeah, so earlier in the day, I got an alert that McCaffrey was doubtful. And then as I was driving into the neighborhood, I got an alert that said
into the estate, please.
estate. I'm sorry about that.
Wow, get it together, bro.
As the gates were opening,
When the guards allowed you in
I seen
to a strip search.
I like the guard. He's a pretty nice guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got another alert saying that Matt Rule said it wasn't looking good for McCaffrey to play this week. So for those of you that didn't know, he was limited at practice yesterday with new injury, a quad injury, which is just for me devastating because I'm going into the playoffs
Yes.
and I was counting on him to be back, and
Well, a quad is not easy to shake
those
off.
take a minute. Those take
it's a
a minute.
hamstring, basically.
now I'm going to be starting Mike Davis.
It's so hard to believe that a guy like McCaffrey can end up injured when he gets the ball 115 times a game
That's true.
for the last 3 years.
But you almost wonder,
he
if
has
this
to
is
break
just-
down at some point.
Yeah, and maybe this year it's been kind of rough.
Yeah, and I know he's killing fantasy owners everywhere. I mean, he was the overall consensus #1 pick in fantasy leagues, and
Yeah.
he's played 3 games this year.
I hope I'm
And
not
he's looked
stepping out
good.
of line saying that he should just get on the HGH. Suck it up. Shoot it up.
I mean, yeah. I'm that guy that it's like
just saying.
Josh Jacobs. Hey, shake off your injuries. Get back. We need, we
Get a
need-
cortisone shot,
Get back.
HGH.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're only young once. Hey, you're only young once.
Let's push.
So, I think a running back that I'm super interested in, and this is going to be kind of counterintuitive.
Sure it is.
I'm looking at Giovanni Bernard this week. Listen, he's a marginal back at best. His best days maybe are past him, but
Good old
he's
days.
going against the Cowboys.
That's true.
And the Cowboys have sucked.
They can't tackle anybody.
Can't tackle anybody. And so I just feel like there's a fair shot that he's going to get into the end zone once, maybe twice.
Yeah.
I think it's a fair start if you're in a deep league and need a running back.
Troy Aikman was questioning their effort at the end of that game.
Oh, there's no doubt.
So, I mean, yeah, there's
Why
a
did he
little
bother?
bit of give up in that team. So, yeah, you might be onto something there. I didn't have him listed here. Another guy that maybe is kind of not counterintuitive, but just a little bit under the radar for people that are not paying attention is J.D. McKissick, especially if Gibson doesn't go.
Yeah.
After he was out, he was on the field for 74% of the snaps, 10 catches, 70 yards. Barber did out-carry him. But, we don't really look at Barber as a guy
No.
that you're worried about. And, I think McKissick will do more with his carries than
Well, and
Barber
he's
Williams going to
receiving,
get the
too.
targets. Yeah.
Barber's one of those guys though that he'll get his carries. He's
On the
going to be
goal
that
line.
plotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to get he's going to get those 15 carries to just kind of wear down the line so that you can play action, roll out.
He's getting the
their-
goal line
their-
carries, too. Yeah.
Their tight end blew up last week.
Logan Thomas?
which
Logan Thomas.
Hey, which
I
we
mean,
Tough
call.
matchup this week, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we called that. We said we thought Logan would have a good game. Alex Smith is definitely checking down to his running backs and his tight ends quite a bit. So
Well, that's
maybe
his
something
game.
to do with
It's
that.
always been his game.
And he's got that leg that's put together with like gum and tape.
You ever heard of Dwayne Bowe? You remember Dwayne
I
Bowe?
do.
The
Okay.
comeback player of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. All right, so the guy I love this week is Aaron
Gum.
Jones.
Gum
Okay.
and tape.
Yeah. No.
Averaging about 15 carries a game. Detroit is last in the league against running backs. Pretty low in all defensive metrics, and this game is, I think, over under 51 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see him break a big run. He had a big game against them early in the year. I love Aaron Jones.
I think there's three guys that have to be mentioned that are your definite starts.
Yeah.
I mean, they're facing bottom 5 rush defenses this week. That's obviously Derrick Henry. I mean, you can't go wrong with Derrick Henry. David Montgomery. I think Chicago's doing a really good job because the quarterback play is not the greatest in Chicago. So David Montgomery is finally getting his touches and doing what he can do with those touches, which
is not much, but
Hey,
He's
that
an elusive guy.
offense, that offense moves a lot better with Trubisky.
It does.
In fact, he was a borderline start for me. I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, we talked about it.
Yeah,
We
I
talked
like
about
Mitchell Trubisky. I think he's a
Well, in that
solid.
game, how do you
biscuit.
feel about James Robinson? Because that defense is just as bad against the run.
Oh yeah, James Robinson.
James Robinson is he's been shocking this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a great waiver wire pickup. Once that whole entire backfield in the beginning of the year was a debacle.
Yeah,
You
it was
had
a mess.
no
Yeah.
idea who was
People
going to
were
step in
picking
and
up
start.
Chris Thompson.
Yeah, I
they were
remember
picking,
that.
yeah,
I picked him up. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
this,
you outbid
this
me.
game. This game is actually the sorry. I always get far away from them. I get too comfortable.
There was
but this game,
Reichel Armstead. He was actually supposed to
Yeah, I
start
had
after Fournette went.
well, didn't who was it that started? Somebody was it the preseason?
Oh, Zigbo.
One of those guys, Zigbo.
Oh, Zigbo.
Yeah, Zigbo. Yeah.
And it was just it was a mess. And then James Robinson comes out of nowhere and just absolutely destroys it.
Well, this game has
He's a tough sit for me.
No, his third and final pick was Wayne Gallman. He didn't want to.
Hey, I'm completely fine with Wayne Gallman. I think he's every week start. I
think
really
he's
do.
a good spot too.
Yeah, he's a good spot. I think he's going up against a solid defense, but not great.
Not great.
They're not that great.
Giants have gotten better every week. Is Danny Dimes coming back?
Yeah, it's not for sure. They're gonna announce it tomorrow.
Well, you know why I want him coming back.
Why?
Because we see you next week after.
Yeah, I want to see him get a little nick
We come
that
after.
affects his game against the Browns.
Classic
Hey,
beta mindset.
Yeah, the last back that I was going to mention, and it pains me almost as much as it would have saying Wayne Gallman is
DeAndre
Zeke.
Swift. Zeke. Oh,
yeah, no, I agree
Zeke's
with
one of
you.
those guys that I love to hate.
Yeah.
He's one of for me in fantasy football. He's always that draft pick that was, when you're going through the draft, just you have to take him when you have the value, but you really don't want to.
Well, I always
You
do.
want to
'cause-
pass
He's
on
an
him,
old-
but you can't. You get to the 8th pick and you're like, Zeke is there. I've got to
take him,
You got to
yeah.
take him.
Well, and he's had 2 strong weeks back to back. One against a pretty strong Ravens defense, and this week against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You got to feel like he's kind of get up for the game, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
If there's a game to get up for,
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
the thing.
it's
That's
got-
the-
I
that's
keep
just
having a
it.
feeling that
That's
Dallas is going to try to work Pollard in. I mean, how
But they haven't yet,
stupid
though.
would it be? You got Dak coming back next year. How stupid would it be that Zeke's going into the second year of his contract or the third? He's got that big contract. How stupid would it be
Second, I
to
think.
get him banged up at the
I
end of
think
this
it's the second.
end of the season because you're trying to run him in games that don't really matter?
Right.
But they have what 3 wins and they're still only like half a game out of first. I mean, how do you?
Okay,
not
No, they're not
play?
half
How
a
do you
game out
not
of
play
first.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Anybody?
4
and,
games left.
and I
They
know
would have to
we're
run the table.
Yeah, wrap that up. Hey,
we're a
wrap
little
that
bit over, but
yeah,
I
wrap
want
it
to
up,
know
B.
anybody you
terrible
don't
division.
start. Anybody you're afraid to start?
Yeah, I'm afraid to start Kamara.
Yeah,
I mean,
you have to start him.
You have to start him, but I don't
But
feel
I'm
great
afraid
about
of
it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm afraid to start Giovanni Bernard.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Me
I'm gonna
too.
go back to that. He's one of those guys that can you start him over say Melvin Gordon
Okay.
or somebody else down there?
If you were to see you know my team. I'm starting him because he's the best option by far. But
Yeah.
you're right. If you have anybody else, but I think he's kind of like Jonathan Taylor. Do you
I
start
feel
him?
good about Jonathan Taylor. Yeah,
I
Better
hope
than
so.
you know who I'll mention? DeAndre Swift. If he actually goes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm worried about. That I don't know if he's going to play, but if he plays, I feel great about him.
And if not, I feel good about AP.
yeah,
You
He's
I
had
hate-
4 touchdowns in the
I
last 2
I hate
games.
playing him though.
I worry about Swift. I mean, what did he have going on? He had a concussion and he was
He had
going
an
for
injury.
3 weeks.
But
Well,
he came back and did well.
No, he
Oh.
hasn't.
No, he didn't come back.
Well,
That's
he
what
came,
I'm talking about.
in between.
In
So
between.
he came
You're
back.
saying before the concussion.
Then he had a
Okay, yeah,
concussion.
okay.
Then he had an illness.
Okay.
And then AP said something's not right with him.
That's worrisome.
Yeah. All right. So before we go on to the next section,
Well, that kind of makes you think. Like, with the concussion, the whole concussion thing is like
It's
when
deep
you,
state.
like what happened with Antonio Brown. I don't know. You guys know that theory, right? What happened to him with Burfict, that playoff game.
No.
It's kind of never been the same since.
No, I know.
Oh, you mean when he got hit, he's kind of been crazy ever since?
Well, yeah, because he never had any like incidents or acted the way he did until after that hit. And I don't know. It's just strange.
I hadn't heard that, but
It makes
yeah,
sense because he
he's-
did kind of go off the rails.
completely off the rails.
Yeah.
He went before, so he went to the Raiders. They were on Hard Knocks that year. He was training, I think, in Europe and ended up with frostbite from doing cryotherapy,
Yeah.
and then just from there went completely.
But
off
you
the
think about it,
rails.
he was a model citizen for his entire career.
That's-
came,
yeah, that's just-
came out of nowhere, became like
Strange about it.
the best receiver in the league, and then all of a sudden, you're kind of right about that.
It started with the hair though. That was always.
No, that mustache is crazy.
He had the hair.
You ever dye
the-
your hair blonde?
No, never.
When I was in
Never.
high school,
Would
Cisco
never.
was real big, dong song. We definitely, like 3 of my friends, we all dyed our hair platinum.
Gosh, please bring
Awesome.
that picture in.
Yeah,
Platinum.
we need
Platinum.
that picture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Can
it
I be
exists.
honest with you?
No, be honest.
I think I did that.
Yeah, you did. I know
Oh
you
no,
did.
I know you
think
did.
I did
Yeah,
that.
I don't
He
think-
didn't want to say it before I said
No,
it. Now
I
it's
should-
okay.
no.
Just come out. Come out.
Oh,
the water's
you
warm.
think-
No, I did it.
Hey, I think you did it, and I
You're-
think you did a cover of the thong song. That's what I think.
No,
You're in a safe
now
place.
that
You
I
can
think
admit it,
about it,
though.
I actually did do that. I with a thong song cover and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I was in the thong.
But we were in the thong song era.
All right, let's
Wow.
set the next alarm, and let's go into wide receivers.
Wow, just wow. I can't believe it.
We're going to go ahead and do 7 minutes on the clock now.
We got wide receivers. What do you guys think?
Ooh. Let me hear what you got to say. You got somebody?
I got about 4 people.
Let me hear what
You
you
go.
got.
You go first.
You sure you want to hear
Yeah, I
from
want
me?
to know. Well,
Yeah.
don't make me think about it too much. Go. Let's
Okay,
go.
easy, easy. Wide receiver number 1. Don't start.
Don't start. Okay.
Don't start.
To sit.
This is a sit.
Okay.
Sit Julio Jones down.
Oh, no
Sit
way.
him down.
All right.
I kind of
hard to
agree
s-
with you a little bit.
No, you don't
but
even know
can't
why.
Do it.
I'm gonna. Well, yeah, you
I might know
can
why.
because there's better options. Okay, there's better options than Julio. He hasn't been a player you could trust all this entire season. Would you say he's been last minute decision? Let's throw him in, only because you have to with who they're playing. I wouldn't play him.
He's got the yardage this year, but he hasn't got the touchdowns.
That's the story of his career.
Yeah, I can't figure out. He's like allergic to the.
And he's great. He's the number one. He's the
He's
Yeah.
unbelievable. He's like physically, he's probably the most dominant receiver in
Pe-
the league. But for
people
some
say
reason,
that,
he
yeah.
can't get in the end zone. I feel like, and he's always got the questionable tag. I feel like he was born questionable. I don't think he's ever gone into a week.
I just kind of feel
Healthy.
like people always say he's this physical freak. He's the
He is,
number
though.
one receiver. Okay, my mom used to say, if you act like a duck, if you smell like look like a duck, he can't find the end zone. He trips
Can't
into the
hold
end
close to
zone.
my face.
Oh, hey.
Don't make me throw hands. All right,
Just
number
a
two.
lot.
Number 2, I'm gonna either say Tyler Lockett or
No,
I'm just kidding. One
Hot
second.
Lockett.
Or
Hot
hot
Lockett.
Lockett. Do you think that's what it is? When you bite into it, it's cold.
He's balding, by the way.
Is he really? It's a shame.
That's
Sad
not
to
real.
see.
Is that a start or a sit?
Young
That's
man.
a sit because DK against those guys, I think that'd be a good starter. You don't think so?
Yeah.
DK Metcalf
DK
against
Metcalf for
but
sure.
the
yeah.
Jets.
But do you think
We're gonna
Lockett's
sit
going to get his
Lockett.
too?
I think
No.
I have the same worry that I said about Russ. It's just I think they'll get up early and they might just try to run the ball. If they just want to win the game. They don't have any point to prove against the Jets.
And they don't want to get hurt.
They don't want to hurt guy. If they could get up early, which they can.
I don't know. DK Metcalf looked like he's trying to hurt
Well,
people.
no, I'm not saying
Oh,
he
he
might score in the first quarter, second quarter, but I don't think the upside is there because I don't think it's going to be a game going into the second half.
But where are they sitting in the standings? That's what
Are
I'm
they?
trying to look this up.
I think they may be right behind, and I'm guessing now. I think they may be right behind the Saints.
Are they sitting in? They've got to be sitting in a wild card spot.
I think it's
So they're 8-4, tied with the Rams, who's
you got the
they're
Packers
playing
first.
fantastic football.
Yeah, you got the Packers ahead of them. You got
Yeah, the Packers too.
They
yeah.
have been doing not so good as of late. We're talking.
Well,
Seahawks.
they're going
Seahawks.
to win, but I'm saying
yes.
But
If they
but
have
they've
the
run
game
into
in hand-
good competition.
I'm just talking about the competition. I think they could get up, and they're not going to have to. The game's not going to be in doubt halfway through the third quarter. I don't think.
Okay, so
So you're not going to be throwing the
we
ball
got
all around.
we got another receiver. Who you?
I'm gonna bring up Cole Beasley.
Let me get him.
Mark.
Let me give it to you.
Let's hear the white man.
So, for
Cheers.
receiver,
Yeah, receiver.
staying in that game,
Yeah.
you'd wanna
Think about
believe in Jamison Crowder going against that Seahawks defense.
tough.
It's no longer the Legion of Boom.
Yeah.
No,
Seahawks,
they suck.
the Seahawks, they need that 12th man. I think they need a 13th man on defense. I mean, they
They
just
might.
can't stop anybody through the air. They're giving up 310 yards. But on the flip side of that, you have Sam Darnold, who, as we know, has seen ghosts.
it. Yeah.
And it's tough, but Crowder's going to get his looks. Crowder's going to get, probably 10 targets in that game, and it depends on what he can do with those. So getting late in the season, so for a lot of larger leagues, I feel like we're into the playoffs already, but for leagues that do their playoffs weeks 15, 16, this is the final week going in.
Yeah.
And, you're looking for those players that can possibly, especially if you have to outpoint.
Yeah.
If you're not going for winning the division, you have to outpoint. So you need guys that are going to potentially put points on the board for you that, can kind of separate you. So you kind of have to roll the dice a little bit, especially if you're sitting behind in the points.
And
Now,
that's
if you're
a good
sitting
point.
on top with, if you're sitting on top points, you don't have to roll the dice necessarily.
Right, but you're looking for somebody with some upside.
With some upside.
Like
So that's
Tyreek Hill.
That's absolute.
Well, Tyreek Hill's got upside all the time.
Let me tell you about Tyreek Hill too. He had a bad game last week.
Right.
Bad game. But if you looked at that game, if you watched that game, he didn't have a bad game. He dropped an easy touchdown in the first part of the game.
Yeah.
And then there was a contested. The Chiefs should have contested it. It was a touchdown
Right.
that he caught, but they couldn't contest it because I guess they ran out of timeouts. So he could have had another monster game. But to me, Tyreek Hill, it's an autopilot. Don't
Go.
even think about it.
Go.
Well,
And this is a
He's
good
one of those
matchup.
guys. And for me, it's Julio too. Julio's on that same tier as Tyreek for me, where it's like almost like an automatic start, even if you hate the matchup.
yeah, you can't not start him because then if he goes off, you're gonna feel like
Yeah.
crap.
Who else is automatic for you guys nowadays?
Automatic. I mean,
'Cause I
let's
think
say
Justin Jefferson-
Devontae Adams.
And Justin,
yeah, Justin Jefferson's
he's
in that
becoming
conversation,
automatic
too.
to me.
Yeah.
So I was looking this up today. The crazy thing about Justin Jefferson, what he's doing in the amount of looks that he gets, he only gets 7 looks a game. And he's turning in these monster
Yeah, that's
performances.
crazy.
He's only getting 7 targets average per game. A couple of those games he's had huge games.
4, right.
But to only look his way 7 times, to me, is criminal because that guy is another one of these freak athletes.
And just to drill home what you guys were saying about Hill, I didn't bring up the stat, but last 4 games, 58 targets.
Yeah.
58 targets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy.
That's almost 15 targets a game.
Well, and they've got it's so funny to me because they've got McCurl Hardman right behind him,
Yeah.
who actually is Tyreek Hill. Like,
Well, he's Tyreek Hill in about 2 years.
Yeah.
when they let him go. In
that
free
that
agency.
right, yeah. But boy, they're just ignoring that guy like left and right.
What do you guys think about real quick Higgins? And the only reason I wouldn't say so is because Mayfield's spreading that ball around pretty fair.
I think, and this is as a Browns fan,
You got 20 seconds, sir.
yeah. I don't think it's Higgins. I think you got to start saying that Jarvis Landry is acting like a starting number 1 receiver in the league.
Finally.
15 targets in the last several games, 2 touchdowns. He's looking good. There's a camaraderie. They're figuring it out.
2 things real quick before the time's up. Mike Williams over Keenan Allen. Cole Beasley again, Pittsburgh, giving up 6th most fantasy points to the slot position.
Cole Beasley, I agree with. Keenan Allen, no way.
Tell you, the left side of the
Wrap
field
it
where
up,
Mike
B.
Williams plays, they're terrible on
Wrap
that side
that.
of the field.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. All right, so we're going to set another timer, and
We're going to go to Mark's favorite position, tight end.
Oh.
It should be everybody's favorite position.
yeah. There's like
Who needs a wide receiver?
it's
when you
like
have a
2
tight
that are
end?
good, and then that's it.
It's debatable.
Let's talk
Mark.
about strategy going into next year's draft.
7 minutes starting now.
No, not yet.
To me,
Hold the timer.
I know this timer. I'm getting
it's
severe
So the timer's
anxiety
good, but
with
we
this timer.
gotta time the timer right.
Hey,
Makes me
We might
jump.
need a time for the timer.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I feel good
Okay.
about
going into your draft next year, I'm going to make a case, and a pretty big case, to draft the best tight end in the league as early as you can, even above other wide receivers. Because every league starts a tight end. And if you're able to get Travis Kelce, you're probably got a 10-point advantage
Yes.
over anybody else that you play every week.
But he's the only one. You think of who's close? Who's
Kittle.
close?
Kittle and
That's
Waller.
it, but Kittle's not in for us.
Waller.
Okay.
Yeah, next year Kittle
But-
should be in.
Here's what I think. Yeah,
It's not too many of them.
Where are you
You
picking?
just got to get your 3. Evan Ingram's wishy-washy.
I'm talking about you get out of the first round, you take the running back you need.
Okay.
You're in the second round and you're looking, and by then, if you're in a 10-man league, you probably got the top 4 receivers are gone, maybe the top 5. I think I would go Travis Kelce over the next rung of receiver as a separation point.
Well, so
Advantage.
Just to interject here a little bit, I draft a lot. I belong to this site RT Sports.
How many leagues are you in?
122. So I see a lot of.
Oh, time's up. What y'all?
You may have a problem.
So I have, I see a lot of.
He's like the beautiful mind in his garage.
Hey, so
What's crazy is on that site I have there's guys that have triple the amount of teams that I do. I mean it's
So
it's
do you
insane. There's
lose-
some serious.
do you lose Wednesday to setting your lineups?
Yes, my wife hates it. She absolutely hates Wednesdays. But so I get to see a lot of these drafts. So you get to see the repetitive nature and what happens. So Kelce religiously does go.
Third round?
If not in the first, he goes early second round.
Wow.
Because you can put him up there. You can make the argument that he gets the targets that a lot of wide receiver ones get.
Yeah, that's true.
On some of these teams. And then, fast forward, you can't predict what the season holds, but a guy like Mike Thomas goes in the top 5, right? He's always the first receiver off the board, injured the entire season.
Right, kills you.
You get a guy like Travis Kelce, who's your number 1 tight end, distances himself. Distances himself
He had a minor stroke.
from George Kittle, who was taken as the second tight end mostly. Mark Andrews was up there, but he's had a bit of an off year. But now you get Travis Kelce, who's scoring far more points than anybody else's tight ends. Guys that lose that wide receiver 1 and Mike Thomas, they're now trying to scrounge down at the bottom of the draft, picking up a tight end. Maybe they get lucky and they get a Hunter Henry or a Mike Gesicki who will give you
Serviceable.
Or
but I mean, but at this point, you're putting up wide receiver 1 numbers with your tight end.
Well, it's kind of like how I felt like at the start of the season. I made the point that if Kyler Murray was a running back, I would start. He would be like the number 12 running back in the league for the first 5 games, and he was also the top 5 quarterback. I feel that way about Kelce. Kelce is probably in the top 10 wide receivers, not tight ends. But you're going against other tight ends. So, like, you're starting Kelce, he's starting Noah Fant. I like my chance that I'm gaining 10 points every week.
It's like having a 40 home run hitter playing catcher in baseball.
Or just like having Taysom Hill as your
No,
quarterback.
good point.
But he's a
very fair
tight
point.
end. Hey, Coach O know what he's talking about now.
Okay, so we definitely are starting Travis Kelce. We're definitely starting Darren Waller. Who else do we like?
What you got? I got, we just talked about him, Hunter Henry.
Ain't wrong.
Besides last week, he's been averaging around 7 targets a game. It's a good matchup. It's a high-scoring game. Their pass defense in ATL is bad. San Diego's pass defense is bad. They're going to be throwing the ball around. I like Henry.
That should be a high-scoring game. I like Henry too, but again, he scored me last week. 1 catch for 5 yards.
Yeah, he hurt.
There's a couple. There were quite a few teams that I'm going to miss out on the playoffs just because of that performance. I feel like from last week.
Yep. You got to get over the that hurt.
I tell you who's become very consistent. TJ has become a very consistent 8 to 10 points a week.
I don't like his matchup this week, but I like TJ a lot. He's probably he's right up. He's probably right there behind Waller.
I don't love the matchup, but I do love Detroit since they fired their coach and the interim coach Blevins came in. He's allowing Stafford to spread the ball around and throw it deep, and I think it clears up the offense as a whole.
What do you guys think about Jonnu Smith going up against the Jags?
So do we know he's playing or is he?
I believe he is.
So if he's playing, I love him. If he's not, I like Ferkser, which that name is...
It's a good name. Say it again.
Ferkser.
He came over from Cleveland, did he not?
Yeah. Every good player comes from Cleveland. OBJ is going to do great for somebody next year. So,
yeah, I absolutely like.
Who do you like?
Oh, it didn't work for me.
All right. So anyway,
Can I start the timer now, or y'all just?
well,
Yeah.
the
Are you
timer's
sure?
on. Yeah, we're
It's
there.
on there.
No, it's not on.
Put
we
it
on
for 3
kickers
minutes.
now?
So
Put it for 3
here's
minutes.
somebody that I'll mention that you hate, Dalton Schultz.
I don't hate
He's
him.
been steady, 4 receptions, 33 yards, just middle of the road tight end stuff, but he's going against the second worst defense against tight ends in fantasy this week with Cincinnati. So he's a nice guy that if you're trying to, pivot off somebody you already have, he's not going to wow you, but I think he has a solid floor around 7 and 8 points in PPR formats, and maybe he scores a touchdown against that bad defense that week. And I'm looking at my rankings here and like kind of weird. I got 6 guys here and 5 of them are white. I don't know what that's about.
Wow, you're racist.
Yeah.
I'm not racist. I'm just.
It's because it's
I'm noticing
tight end.
the tight ends. That's
Tight end, that's why.
It's strange.
It's an
right?
extension of the offensive line.
Speaking of a white tight ends, one I don't like this week is Jezeki.
Just one. Okay.
Yeah, Jezeki. And here's why.
I like Jezeki this week.
Well, I like Jezeki, but
Mhm.
the Chiefs are actually in the top 5 against tight ends. They don't let them score. They
Yeah.
cover them pretty well. And I think Tua is going to get a little bit of a wake up. It ain't Alabama. You ain't got 8 seconds to throw a ball. I think the Chiefs are going to kind of mess around with that rookie.
So don't you think then he's more prone to dump it off to the running back in the tight end in that situation?
I think he is, but I still don't like that matchup against Jezeki.
No.
Jezeki's streaky to me.
I think that the Dolphins defense may get a little exposed this week, even though the Chiefs have played down against good defenses. They haven't really rolled over good defenses this year.
I feel good about Dos Equis.
So
Those X's.
Gazeki, 11 targets last week, and he probably get more this week because they'll get some pressure on him. I like him, so I'll have to disagree with you there.
Yeah.
I also like Jordan Reed. He's going against his former team. That's a little bit of narrative for you.
Talk about a guy that's
And,
injured a lot, but when he plays, he's
He's
got
on
all the
point.
talent.
Yeah,
he
all
could-
the potential in the world.
he's great. And now listen to this: the team he's playing this week, right? You know who they are?
Who?
Steelers coming off a bad game. They're going to be
Real
motivated,
bad.
but they've been bad against the tight end all year. And Dalton Knox, who's nobody's best tight end on their roster, had 12.7 fantasy points last week.
So I was going to ask you guys this, and I know we're at tight ends, but Josh Allen was a guy I'm happy I don't have on my team this week because I think he's proven that you need to start him. But going against the Steelers, but the Steelers are pretty hurt. Like they're banged up. They're not the defense they were even 3 or 4 weeks ago. Hayden he probably is going to be out. He's their best shutdown corner. Another ex-Cleveland guy that they got rid of for no reason that I can think of. So I think the Steelers are normally, I would say, don't start your players against them. But this week, I think actually it might not be a bad matchup for the Bills.
Allen, I think even more so than that. Last week, I came into it thinking the matchup with San Francisco was going to hurt Allen because they're corners and he
looked good.
And they're home this week.
Yeah, he looked good.
I think you gotta start him.
All right, so
You got to get to your boy Tone, right?
yeah. But do you have anything?
Was that, well,
No, that's
I thought
something,
we were. Was that for tight ends though? Or are we going to talk about Josh Allen? 'Cause,
don't know,
I'm only
yeah.
curious because Josh Allen, he was a value quarterback for me. So in the majority of my leagues, I waited on quarterback.
and you took him.
I was high on Josh Allen. Josh Allen's one of those quarterbacks for me that he's not Lamar Jackson, but you can mention him in the same breath, right? You're going to get a quarterback that runs the ball 10 times effectively a game.
And he's more accurate with.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are reminding me of Daniel Jones right now.
No, we're not.
He's not there yet, but he will be.
I'm talking about the future. I'm so sorry.
Me too. That's why I said he will be.
He plays
And-
for the Giants, right?
Yeah.
You're a Bears fan. You went to Super Bowl. Rex Grossman.
Listen,
Let's keep moving.
They have a pretty big,
What?
infatuation with Danny Jones
I know.
Yeah, and we
And-
gave you Victor
and
Cruz.
Eli.
I can't
And we
believe
gave you Victor Cruz, and y'all did nothing with him. So
you also-
Victor Cruz is washed by the time he went.
no,
you
he's
gave-
not.
you
Well,
gave
he's
him
not
to-
washed. He's good now. Watch out.
one too many Campbell
Watch out,
soup.
bro.
You know what
Any
I'm saying?
team right now, top 10. Watch out.
One
you
too
got
many-
a poster of it in your room?
Yeah. I
One
do.
too many Campbell soups. He was done by the time he got to the Bears.
Y'all
Victor Cruz, I think, came to us in his 40s, and he also had Chicago quarterbacks throwing to him.
That's
I
true.
mean, that's
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Just the last part is true.
Can I ask you something?
The last part.
Since we're talking about Chicago quarterbacks, right? You
It's a
talk to
proud
me a little bit
tradition.
about them. Who's your favorite Chicago quarterback?
Al Capone.
None.
Really?
I don't have a favorite Chicago quarterback.
Not-
I have a favorite.
Not
You
McMahon.
don't like Cutlass?
So McMahon obviously is the. You know,
I
he's
like.
the
I love
he's the
Cutler
cult
as a
favorite.
personality, but yeah.
You don't like him? He was the only one that did anything for you
Cutler
guys.
actually, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
McMahon did win us. He did win us a Super Bowl.
Cutler had a
But-
good-looking wife. That's something.
Yeah. Well, they're
In your book, yes.
they're actually they're divorced now. So my wife follows his wife on social media.
I don't like his wife
So
much, but
they're now divorced, and Jay Cutler is actually has a personality outside of football.
He's
On the
pretty
football
funny.
field, you would
Have
not.
you ever
would
watched
not.
the reality
No,
show?
that's
He's-
funny
he's
because
a
he
funny
looks
guy.
plain Jane. He looks like a
he's
piece of paper,
He's
like
a
loose
funny.
leaf.
He's a funny guy.
Well, I think that's I think that is actually the criteria that needs to be met in Chicago to be a quarterback.
Yeah, be a
because
funny
we've
guy.
essentially since that Super Bowl with Indianapolis back in the 2006 season, every quarterback has essentially been the same dude.
Yeah. Yep.
We've had consistency. They drop back. They have 4 seconds to pass. The criteria is you stare down your first read until you finally throw to him when he's triple covered off of your back foot as you're fading away.
But don't you
This
feel
is-
like, honestly, like, don't you feel like Trubisky actually is maddening in that he shows? Sometimes I watch him play and I'm like, this kid's good.
It's because
He's
he's
talented.
mobile. He's
He's
mobile.
talented.
He can bring the ball. He can bring the ball down and run with the ball. So those quarterbacks I think are always dangerous.
All
Right?
joking aside, I think they could win with Trubisky. Just everything else around him has to be
Perfect.
Right.
good. They have to have the good defense. They have to have a running game.
Have to have the
'Cause, like I
offensive
said
line.
earlier in the week, if he could see a guy, he can get the ball.
It's
to
not
him.
unlike Baker Mayfield.
But
Mayfield
is-
needs, I think, to me, he needs the line
I don't-
working, the running backs, the receivers. He needs.
And for Trubisky, it's got to be the first guy because that's the only guy he looks at. It's
I like him this week too, and I like Mooney. I think Mooney's got a good matchup.
all right, all
So
right.
let's
so
go ahead and get into
gotta
Yeah,
our.
we're
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
get into.
Record,
We
yeah.
have a new intro for our on-the-spot reporter. So let's drop the new start.
You all right?
You know him from the University of Tennessee, a Vol for life. A former first-round pick of the Philadelphia Eagles. And the runner-up on Season 12 of The Biggest Loser. Coming to us from a Wawa in Upper Delaware. And giving us his injury updates, Antone Davis.
All right, guys. Antone Davis coming at you this week with a few injury updates. A lot of things happening this week, and it seems like this week is the quarterback week. A lot of quarterbacks that are actually questionable for this week's game. I'm going to go down a quick list here that I made. Stafford is questionable for this week. Cam Newton is questionable for this week. Daniel Jones, Phillip Rivers, Tua is even questionable. They're saying Tua is a starter, but they're saying he's questionable right now for this week. When you look at the wide receivers this week, a lot of key guys that may not get to play this week. So if you're counting on these guys, you might want to take another look at your lineups. T. Higgins is going to be questionable for this week. Deshaun Jackson is going to be questionable. Now think about this. If these guys are questionable on this day, then that could mean even if they do play, they're not going to be at 100%. So make sure you take that into account. We all know the Chiefs are able to put up points, but Tyreek Hill is questionable this week. And Dez Bryant is also questionable. Now, Dez is not an injury. Dez is due to COVID, but either way, he's not going to probably play unless he gets cleared for COVID. So Dez Bryant is down. Zeke Elliott also down, along with Christian McCaffrey. Now, these guys are all questionable. That means they still could play, but that to me, that also means they're probably not going to be 100%. One defensive injury of note is Jadeveon Clowney is now put on IR, so you want to take that one into account. The one thing I noticed that really stood out to me this week is there are a lot of teams with a lot of players injured. In fact, there's one team had 8 corners that are either injured or on injury reserve or questionable or out of the game. So guys just not playing. That's really big. Now, the one team that stuck out to me the most with the fewest amount of injuries was the Rams, with no key guys either questionable or out. That's this week's injury update.
All right, so we're ready to make our picks this weekend.
Yeah.
Want to
Can
give
we
a little
talk about-
update on the
Yeah.
on the record here?
Yeah, let me tell you about
the tables have turned a little bit.
Delano.
The cream is rising.
So Rocky, listen, I am starting at my own sports bet book because, listen, this is with the spread. I am 15-5 for the season, 4-0 last week. And Phil moved into second place at 13-7. He was 4-0 also. Delano, you stumble a little bit.
Hey,
A little bit.
It's when I chose to jump on your bandwagon with those Browns. Is when I took
No,
the hit.
because we picked the Browns to win outright.
Yes.
You picked for them to win with the points.
I think that was the turning point.
Anyways, you finished 2-2, and you're at 12-8 now.
Hey, I'm
Respectable.
Hey, it's respectable.
Yeah, you make the playoffs, but you're getting beat by Phil and I.
It's like the Giants, but you know what?
We're going to let Mark make picks today. We're not going to take a record. We're just going to be recreational. And maybe we'll see how he does. But we still need you guys who are listening to send us some DMs, even comments. Give us an idea of what the punishment should be for the guy that finishes in last place. Because we do want to embarrass somebody. Hopefully Delano.
It's Delano. Don't embarrass me.
Delano. I'm just gonna call you D. Although Tone is doing pretty bad, man. What's going on with Tone?
Well,
He played in the NFL, right?
You know, when you're in a Wawa in Upper Delaware,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things.
A lot of
taking your attention.
distractions.
There's the cappuccinos. You've got the subs.
Listen,
the subs, you got mac and cheese
I don't know. It's not
sides.
even that. It's not even that. You see,
Quesadillas are pretty good too.
he was
to
the
be honest with you.
runner-up. He was the runner-up on the Biggest Loser.
Runner-up on the Biggest
So
Loser.
he gonna be the first place of this.
So we're gonna see if you.
I think the
are-
turkey gobbler is back too.
Turkey gobbler's back. I think it's gone, but it was back.
It was back.
You know what's back? The McRib. Anyway,
Yeah, it is back actually.
Yeah,
It
it
is
is
back.
back.
But are
guys
you
wanna
excited?
go? A
Are you
little bit.
excited?
It's the McRib. I mean, reminds me of school lunch.
That's exactly what it is.
That
know
is
where you went to
Excited
school.
about that?
You remember that?
No,
I don't know where
'cause
you went to
didn't
school.
do
I
it.
used to get it.
I dodged it.
You went to private school.
I was gonna say I don't know where you went to school,
Well,
Richie Rich, but
yeah.
I was getting the square.
Clarence parents
Cardboard
had real
pizza.
nice marriage.
I was getting that. I got that, not a McRib. Never got that. That
You never
seems
got the McRib?
nah.
Where'd you go to school where they were serving McRibs?
Oh, they had McRibs. I went to school in Hoboken, New Jersey.
That
the
makes
birthplace of Frank Sinatra and baseball. Anyway,
You look
Let's
like
get
you
to the
eat,
picks.
You look
I don't
like
think
you
that's
eat
true at
McRibs.
all.
that is the truth. Go look it up, my friend.
Baseball.
The first game of baseball was played in Hoboken, New
Cooper.
Jersey.
Abner,
no.
Abner
Cooperstown
Double
is-
Daz from Hoboken.
Hoboken. Hey, I mean, can you imagine that?
I'm gonna challenge
Hey,
that.
No, Google it.
how about
You
I
got
put
an
a
iPhone,
hoagie in
right?
your mouth? That's right.
No,
See,
Phil.
there you go with the hoagie
Phil
stuff.
invented.
We don't call it a hoagie.
Phil invented the McRib. It was like y'all McDonald's.
Yeah, y'all need a McRib,
Y'all need a
man.
McRib.
Y'all need
They're
something with
like,
some
"What's
sauce
that?
on it.
What's that? He
All right,
pulls
so
some- he pulls one out of his pocket.
Okay, let's shut up.
This isn't getting better.
Cardinals. Cardinals minus 1.5 at the Giants.
Okay.
What say you, Rocco?
So the Giants are getting 1.5.
yes, sir.
Antone went with the Giants. Just
for
so you
him.
guys know that.
No, he didn't. No,
Well,
he
of
didn't.
course he did, because he's an Eagles
Did he?
fan.
You sure?
Let me just remind everybody while we're talking about Antone's pick that he said Carson Wentz would turn it around because he's a professional. Okay,
I'm gonna
Go
go. You know what? I'm gonna take the Giants to win this game.
they're gonna win the game. Good choice.
I don't think he took the Giants.
But he just said it.
Look that up, will you, for me?
What are you looking up?
What Antone said.
Oh,
I thought he said Giants pending.
No, that was
me.
him.
That was
Oh, that was
me.
you.
he's
Okay.
still pending.
Well,
He's
fine.
I'm not pending
He's
anymore.
buffering.
Fine, Antone.
Antone is going with the Cardinals from Wawa near you.
I think we got that right.
Okay. So
And
who are you going with?
Phil's going with a McDonald's McRib.
he probably needs two of those. But
Yeah,
how many?
probably.
How many you go? Oh, who you going with?
You already know that what you said is whatever you thought Antone was doing.
He's
that's
going with
me. I'm
Seattle.
with the
He's
Giants.
going with Seattle.
You troll.
I get the pick here.
Yeah.
Cardinals minus the 1.5. That's easy for me. I'm going with the Cardinals.
All right, I like that. I like that spunk. We're gonna make a bet about that
Phil, I
later.
know who you're going with.
So the Giants, I'll just say this: they're home. It started snowing yesterday.
Yes.
Playing the team that's on a 1-4 streak.
From the desert.
Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
All right. Next game.
Steelers plus 2.5 at Buffalo.
So this is interesting that the Steelers get 2.5. I was really interested in
Well, what did we just talk about? The weather is it might be snowing this weekend up in Buffalo. They just came off a big win. They're going back home.
Both of those teams are they're both accustomed to the snow, though.
Yeah.
They are, but
Who
they're
did,
on the road.
Who did Antone have?
Antone went with the Steelers.
Okay, so Antone had the Steelers.
Antone went Steelers.
Come back to me on that one. Give me a
Okay.
second.
You think
You can't pin. You can't
roll
pin.
that over?
Only got one pending spot.
I'm taking Buffalo at home, man. All right, man. I like Buffalo.
Delano?
Josh Allen, man.
Okay, only because I actually put it in. I went with Buffalo, and then I deleted it. So I'm going to go with Buffalo. And I put pending because I was unsure.
I think he's copying our picks.
No.
So I'm going to go, actually,
Yeah, I am.
I'm going to
No,
take the Steelers in 2.5. I just feel like they're not going to lose 2 games in a row. I think they were embarrassed in the last game, and I think they're going to come back and win this.
I just think they're going to heal themselves up and come
Yeah.
back strong.
That's a
Negative.
good point.
Negative.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they were embarrassed or if they were exposed in that game. I
May have been.
I think that I think the teams are catching on to Pittsburgh. They've lost a couple, or I'm sorry, they've won a couple of really close games that they probably should have lost.
A lot of close
Yeah,
games.
they did play the garbage dumpster fire trash that is the Eagles the week before and barely got by them.
Yeah,
But the Eagles have hung in most games this year.
Mm.
And they were close with the Browns, close with the Giants. They were close. We don't got to like them, but we got to say they were close.
Yeah, but nah.
So, Mark, what's your pick?
I think I'm gonna go Buffalo here. I do like I like Josh Allen there. I like Buffalo at home. I think Pittsburgh's kind of got that. They've got that offense that's centered around the line of scrimmage. So I think they do a lot of dink and dunk. If it does snow, maybe they do have a shot to win that game.
I think a lot of it depends on what they get at their running back.
Yeah,
I do think James Conner's coming back from the COVID list. So
which is big. And I mean, they have a couple guys that have stepped up for them as well. Benny Snell and who's the other one? The rookie McFarland, I believe.
Yeah.
Had a couple decent showings.
They make great toys, sports toys for teams.
Okay, anyway.
I don't know where that's coming from.
He's still at the airport. All right, so we got the Ravens -1 at the Browns.
Ooh.
I'm going to let you go last.
Ooh,
okay?
yes. Ooh.
That's got to be a typo.
Let me go first.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
did
Let's
Antone
go this way.
pick?
Yeah, who did Antone pick?
Antone went with the Ravens because he said them Browns. And that's all he said.
Yeah. It's fair. Very fair.
Them Browns.
So are we sure the Ravens are -1?
Yeah, isn't
Yes,
that
sir.
crazy?
At home, which means
No, they're at Browns.
At the Browns.
Yeah, it don't matter. It's
Oh,
He wrote it
I'm
wrong.
sorry. I was
Oh,
writing that
yeah?
wrong.
Is that how you feel?
So they're at the Browns.
Is that how you feel, Rocky?
55. So.
You hear?
I think that's a typo. I think that should be -11. So I'm going Baltimore.
Wow.
Oh, wow. What
Well,
do you?
you know what I will say? I will say the Browns
Okay.
are an old school football team. They're running the ball. Miles Garrett back. They're controlling the line of scrimmage.
Everybody.
Baltimore has looked terrible. They
Yeah.
played the Dallas Cowboys.
Let me make my
last
call
week.
before he finishes that up. I'm going with the Browns.
See, he did that. He jumped in there.
I'm going with the Browns. It's basically
Oh, you
basically a pick 'em.
copying.
Yeah, I'm copying. It's a pick 'em, and they're home. And the Ravens haven't looked like the Ravens of last year, and they're not controlling the line of scrimmage like they were. They beat up. Listen, we said this early in the season. They're a bully. They bully bad teams. Cleveland
It's a bad team.
is not. No, they're not
They're
a
not
bad,
a bad
team.
team.
Cleveland is not a bad team.
That elf's gonna need a cigarette. You rub that any longer.
Yeah.
So I'm going Cleveland. What about you? Obviously,
So this is a tough one because I would say logic tells me I need to pick the Ravens.
I don't know why.
The Ravens throttled the Browns. Not even a game. In fact, first game of the season, it was 38-10. We looked awful.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid because any good quarterback
Any good quarterback.
can dice up our secondary. Here's the deal. Lamar Jackson's not a good quarterback. He's a great runner. He's going to get his yards, but he's not a great quarterback, I don't think. So I think that evens the field some. So my head says go with the Ravens. My heart says pick the Browns,
Go with your heart.
the Brownies.
Browns. So what do you guys think about Chubb in that game then? Are you guys chubbed for Nick on this one or what?
I think it's a little
torqued.
bit.
No, I think he'll have a decent game.
Yeah.
I'm going for Hunt.
I think the Browns they remember week 1. I think
They were
the
embarrassed
teams,
by it.
I think the teams are different teams at this point.
Yep.
And I think they're going to want to establish the run game at home. I like them to win. I think Chubb is the guy. He's going to land probably around 80 to 90 yards. He's going to get volume. And maybe he gets in the end zone.
I think Hunt's going to be the guy,
punch it
though,
in.
that's going to be getting the receptions near the goal line. I think he's going to be the guy moving the field.
Punching it in.
I think if we get a Mayfield anywhere close to what we saw last
only
week.
if they can run the ball, that's going to happen.
Yeah.
If he has to drop back, it's not going to happen.
He was spreading that ball around, though. That's the thing. It didn't. I mean, it looked like Jarvis was getting it a good bit.
Let me tell you something I haven't been able to say about the Browns in like 30 years. They have a good coach.
They're a contender.
Well, that's right. Stefanski is a good coach who knows how to put his players in the right spots to win.
Yeah.
Mayfield,
I agree with that.
I mean, Mayfield,
he's hitting them.
he's gotten better every week, and he's starting to let.
You don't want to say it. It seems like you don't want to quite say it. Like, I'm not saying he's arrived.
The coach is letting that. He's putting him in a position
to win.
Yeah, I mean, it's the running game first. If they can't run the ball, which is why they're going to lose to the Giants in 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
I get
if
it.
they can't run the ball, he's not the same guy. If he runs, if they get that game going,
The passing is
he can
predicated
roll out.
on
He
the
can
run.
hit half of the field. He only has 3 guys to look at.
Yeah.
He can dissect that. If he has to drop back, if they're not running stop routes, he's not anticipating throwing into windows. He's not doing all that stuff.
I get
It's
it. I'm
similar to
a Bears
Trubisky.
fan. I'm a Bears fan, so I get the reserved optimism there with the Browns. You know, your heart always tells you, go with my team.
got a chance.
But your head's like,
All right, let's go with the
it's a
last game.
Chicago quarterback.
All right, last game was a pretty interesting game when we're picking the Eagles. Why again?
Because
We're not, though.
of Antone.
No, I'm saying we're picking that. Oh, because Antone. I forgot.
Wow.
So the Eagles, Saints are giving 7 at Philadelphia.
You think so? I mean,
Jalen Hurts at the helm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah,
You
What
think
do you
so?
guys think? No, I
Well,
don't
first
know.
of all, who did Antone?
Who do you guys think Antone
Saints.
went with?
I think he went with the
It's
Saints.
crazy because any other given time, if you look at it, he's always gone Atlanta.
Atlanta. What?
Eagles.
I know. I understand.
Okay,
why.
I get what you're saying. All right.
Oh,
I'm understanding why. I know who we're playing. I know it looks like it doesn't relate, but even with this, I wouldn't have seen him going the Saints. He's going the Saints. The only reason I'm bringing that up only because
Bring that home, please.
yeah, he's always going against the Saints. It seems.
Okay. Well, I was thinking more
And it
because he
doesn't-
was drafted by the Eagles. He might go with them.
No, you would think so though,
Yeah.
and that's why it's kind of weird because he's actually going Saints this one time, and
all right.
it's against his team.
What do you think?
I am going to go. I'm going to take the Saints with 7 or given 7.
It seems like a no-brainer, but it feels like
It
a
doesn't.
trap game.
Yeah, it
it
does.
feels like an absolute
But
trap.
then you remember they're playing the
Eagles.
Eagles.
And
Good.
so you do have New Orleans, who has the number
Yeah.
1 overall defense. They're only
And
they're allowing less than 300 yards a game, and you're
Particularly
putting
against the run,
and you're putting a rookie, a quarterback first game week 14. I don't know.
It doesn't seem like a trap game to me at all. It seems
Yeah,
like a
no?
no-brainer.
That's what I'm saying. It seems like a no-brainer, but it feels
Here's what I'll
like a
say.
trap game.
I
I
think-
don't think the Eagles are going to come back from out of the trash can. This is Oscar
there's gonna
Grouch.
there's going to be some excitement because there's a new quarterback. He's a decent quarterback.
Right, they're going to rally around this rookie
Yeah,
quarterback.
but at
they
the
like-
same time, it's not like they're gaining anything. It's like they had players that were out and they're coming back. Like
I think
the
Jalen Hurts
difference-
is a better quarterback than Wentz right now.
Okay, but
Yes.
we're looking at Taysom Hill right now, and I mean he had his first throwing touchdown of the season last game, and then after that he was on fire. Like he was lighting it up. He
Yeah,
can
Taysom Hill
run.
looked good.
He's running. I mean the defense, the Eagles didn't bring anything that's going to stop them from.
What I'm saying
getting
about the
thrashed.
game is I'm
so
with
you're
you
going
guys.
Saints.
Yeah, to me it's no brainer, and this is
Yeah,
with a
let's-
backup quarterback that they're doing this with. It's not.
Did you pick yet?
No,
Okay.
I'm after
I'll
him.
go. I'll say this. I think Hurts is a better quarterback. When he came in the game, and
You're a better quarterback.
You've
Phil.
heard the rumor. Well, I mean, there's rumors saying that they don't like Wentz.
Yeah, no. There's already rumors saying he'll be traded.
And you seen a jump in that team when Hurts came in the game.
We'll take
Hurts
him in
extended
Chicago.
plays. He threw the ball better. So they're not going to win this game, but they're home. They got a guy that they want to play for. I don't know that they can't keep it under 7 points.
Is a lot. Yeah.
It's Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
As good as he's been, we're talking about a 3-game track record.
That's true.
So I don't know about on the road, outdoors, a dome team beating them by 8 points. So I take the Eagles at home.
I think this is the week we have the most differentiation.
Did I go yet?
Yeah,
You went.
You sure? Because I'm going the Eagles now.
You want to change?
Mark, how about you?
Like I said, my head's telling me Saints, obviously, but it feels like one of those trap games, and I
want to hear you say Eagles.
I grew
Doesn't
up.
want to say it.
I do
Struggling.
not. I want to. I grew up an anti-Eagles fan.
As you should.
I didn't
Well,
like anything.
that's what he sounds like.
Anything Eagles. But
I hate the Eagles.
I mean, you look at
Same.
Philly, and if both Ertz and Goddard are healthy, I mean, there are two fantastic weapons. They have some younger, quicker receivers on the end. Can Jalen Hurts get outside the pocket, create some space, and throw downfield and really surprise the Saints team that's probably looking at this like it's a no-brainer?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Janoris Jenkins out there too. Like he's not just going.
And I'm not discrediting. I mean, New Orleans.
You
been,
gotta think about
been
the
doing it.
entirety. I'm gonna let you do your.
No,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to
Saints.
shed some reality on the
You convinced me. I'm going Saints.
Saints?
Oh yeah,
Saints,
yeah.
man. You got.
I can't even believe I let the word
Jalen-
Eagles come out of my
Jalen
mouth so
Rager-
many
did, I'm
times.
just
I'll say
saying.
this: Jalen Rager looked like the guy that we thought he was going to be getting drafted with.
One
in the
time,
game.
but that was against a different rush.
That's true, but he
I mean, to
looked
me,
like
New
that all
Orleans-
season.
Hey, let this
New
game,
Orleans is.
Let this-
they got the real deal rush. I mean, to me,
Cam Jordan is.
Let this game be the game that's hung up next week because we spent
Hey,
a good amount of time.
best
on it, and I wanna-
5 defensive lines in the league, and
Let's-
you look at Washington,
come on.
how well Washington
Y'all rallying
is
around a rookie.
with a good D line. Cleveland has been kept in
It
games
feels
with
like a
a
trap.
terrible secondary, with a good D line. You got to me the Saints. I think Hurt is gonna look good at times.
Hurts.
Hurts.
It's funny how you take the words without an S, put an S, and then the words with an S, you take it.
I
off.
think Hurts is gonna look good at times, but I think
Says
he's
you
probably
guys.
good for or Axe. I think he's good for at least one interception. That's going to be costly. I think he's going to hold on to the ball and get sacked a little bit.
Yeah.
They don't have a great running game, anyways, going against a great running defense.
So you're liking Jalen Hurt over Carson Wentz then?
Yes,
Is that
Wentz.
He does
Went.
He would say Joe Burrow.
Went. It is Joe Burrows.
It's Burrow.
No,
Yeah.
it's Burrows. He played at The Ohio State University.
He?
The.
Are we done?
All right, so we want to thank you guys for watching and listening. Our numbers are going up, and we really appreciate it. We're gonna remind you guys
The
to.
Philadelphia guy you got to mention. Forgot about him, right?
Oh, that's right. I forgot about him. Yeah, we want to thank. I don't know if I have it now, but we've got a shout out on TikTok from one of the Philadelphia sports guys, and we appreciate you very much. We're going to be paying back that favor. You can find us anywhere: our website, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're on every podcast format, YouTube. Find us, like us, and we're going to be going live a whole lot more, answering your questions. So thanks for listening.
Peace, guys.
It's like we holding on to what he's hating. Lacking luster from the father, cause there's no relation. I'm told to tell you about him, word from God if not mistaken. That's why his name is always dropped in every conversation. I've been sold to his will hold, but falling short upon his glory, but let his will roll. Stand, they say I'm crazy, think I'm lunatic. They say my head's up in the clouds only when I'm on my trips. Land, hope you pick up on what I'm laying. The time is now, no delaying. Convey to you on his cadence. The plan is to give us life, but the sin that got us decay will live.